So, you're having trouble with your top mount flush valve. Let's take a look at a few possible causes and the corrective actions you can take to get your flush valve back in action. Problem 1. The flush valve doesn't flush. Press the manual override button. If nothing happens, but you hear the gears activate inside the valve body, you most likely have a water supply issue. First, make sure that your building's main water supply to the wall is turned on. Next, make sure that your control stop valve is open. Remove the stop valve cover with your Allen wrench. Using a flat blade screwdriver, open the valve by turning the screw counterclockwise. Press the manual override button to test flush the unit. If the unit still does not flush, we'll need to open the sensor assembly and take a look at the gears inside. Remove the top of the valve body by loosening the set screw on the side of the valve body with an Allen wrench. Turn the top slightly counterclockwise and gently lift straight up. Leave the cables connected. Be careful not to pull on the cable connection. Press the manual override button. If you can hear the motor actuate but the gears don't turn, please call Zurn customer care to get a new flush valve. Now that we've ruled out water supply issues, let's take a look at the sensor. If there are no lights present on the sensor at all, with or without a user in view, the batteries are most likely installed incorrectly or completely dead. Remove and install 4 new AA batteries as follows. Remove the top of the valve body by loosening the set screw on the side of the valve body with an Allen wrench. Turn the top slightly counterclockwise and gently lift straight up. Disconnect the cable connection. Open the battery box with a flat blade screwdriver and replace the 4 AA batteries. Reinstall the battery box cover. Reconnect the cables. Stow the wire harness in the recess as shown here, and reinstall the valve body cover. Tighten the set screw with an Allen wrench. If the sensor is flashing red every half second, you'll need to contact Zurn customer care. If the sensor flashes red every 3 seconds or every 10 seconds, replace the batteries as previously shown. If the sensor detects a user but fails to flush upon exiting the sensor range, make sure the sensor is not detecting any unintended objects, like a stall door. The sensor would flash every 30 seconds in this scenario. Identify and remove any such objects. Next, try replacing the 4 AA batteries, as previously shown. Also, inspect the sensor lens, and if needed, clean it with a soft cloth, not paper towel. Next, remove the top of the valve body and inspect the cable connection for proper insertion and/or damage. If it's damaged, you'll need to replace your flush valve. If no user is detected while you're standing at the desired sensor activation distance, the most likely scenario is that you need to readjust the sensor activation distance. Adjust the sensor activation distance as follows. Place a target, like cardboard, at the desired sensor activation distance. Grab your Zurn Magic Magnet and place it on top of the valve body next to the manual override button as seen here. Once the magnet is placed, the red status LED illuminates continuously on for 5 seconds. The status LED will quickly flash and then begin flashing once every second and has now entered calibration mode. Leave the magnet in place. After 10 LED flashes, followed by a double flash, the detection range will be calibrated and set. The valve will now enter range verification mode. Repeatedly move the target away from and toward the sensor. The LED will illuminate when the target is detected and turn off when it's out of range. If the range is satisfactory, remove the magnet and you're all set. If you're still having troubles with user detection, make sure that the flush valve body and sensor are oriented perpendicular to the wall as seen here. Problem 2. The flush valve is short flushing. If the flush valve will not properly evacuate the fixture, first check that your flush valve rating matches the rating of the fixture it's installed on. Next, make sure that your control stop valve is open and adequately set. If that's all good, open the valve body and make sure that the number on the barcode sticker matches the number on the barcode sticker on the bottom of the outside of the valve body as seen here. If they don't match, it's possible that during installation, a urinal valve body cover and a water closet valve body cover were accidentally switched. If all of that pans out, let's remove the entire valve body and check the diaphragm for damage. Remove the vandal-resistant stop valve cover and turn off the water at the control stop valve. Press the manual override button to evacuate any residual water in the valve body. Next, we'll use a strap wrench to rotate the lock ring at the bottom of the valve body counterclockwise to unthread the entire valve body from the rest of the flush valve. Remove the diaphragm for inspection. Inspect the diaphragm for damage or punctures. If it's damaged, you'll need to replace the diaphragm. Inspect the bypass orifice. If it's enlarged, damaged, or missing, you'll need to replace the diaphragm. Ensure that you have the correct type of diaphragm for your fixture. If it's not the correct one, you'll need to replace it with the proper diaphragm. Install the new diaphragm in the valve body. Make sure that the orifice is oriented opposite the control stop valve, as seen here. Thread the valve body back onto the flush valve. Make sure that the valve head, lock ring, and your strap wrench are clean and dry. Secure the lock ring with the strap wrench at least a third of a turn past hand tight. Open the stop valve and test your flush valve. If any water leaks out around the lock ring, you'll need to further tighten the lock ring with the strap wrench. Problem 3. The valve is flushing too long or won't shut off. Turn off the water and remove the entire valve body as shown previously to access the diaphragm. Remove the diaphragm and inspect the bypass orifice for any blockage or debris. Clean the orifice as needed, being careful not to enlarge or damage the orifice. Reinstall the diaphragm and the valve body. Turn on the water and test the flush valve. Problem 4. The flush is not considered quiet. First, let's make sure that the control stop valve is properly set for your situation. Remove the stop valve cover and turn the screw clockwise in small increments to turn down the water supply volume and test the flush valve. Keep in mind the flush valve's minimum requirements for operation. Other possible sources of noise that should be addressed by the building engineer could be the absence of air chambers and shock arresters, loose pipes, improperly sized pipes, etc. Problem 5. Water leaking near the valve head. If water is leaking out of the valve body near the lock ring, try further tightening the lock ring with a strap wrench. Ensure that the lock ring and strap wrench are both clean and dry. Well, that just about does it. If you need further assistance, you can always reach out to Zurn's team of experts for support. And check out our huge library of other troubleshooting and installation videos on our YouTube channel.